welcome back to Coffee with Yvonne. Though I'm on a little bit of a spring break at the moment, I wanted to make sure you had some content until I return in early April. I have picked from our Coffee with Yvonne library some of my favorite episodes for you to listen to. So please enjoy these episodes from the Coffee with Yvonne archive. I got an archive, y'all, until I return. Thank you so much for continuing to listen and support the pod. So grab your coffee while listening to these favorite episodes and let's chat. As I mentioned on the pod today is Mr. Aaron Slaughter. Aaron and I went to college together. We go back like hoodies and flip flops on the quad. But I have known Aaron for that long, and to see him become a successful, hardworking person who manages to still find time to give back to his community through his work and also through giving back at our alumni, McDaniel College, is really great to see. At the time of recording, Aaron was up for a promotion. Now, Aaron has received a promotion, clap, 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 go Aaron, and is officially a VP in accounting, which we are so proud of him. I hope you enjoy this episode. Take a lot of notes, my fellow small business and creatives, because this is advice people don't give out for free. Okay, and Aaron did that as a favor for me to share his knowledge and just some tips and suggestions from his professional point of view. So make sure you grab that pen, grab that pencil, sit back and listen to this wonderful conversation with Mr. Aaron Slaughter. Educated and everything, got your bio, like, oh, the journey. I'm just so proud. Okay, all right, all right. Before I get into his bio, I want to say hi, Aaron.
Oh, so I know this is a radio audience. You can't tell, but I'm blushing right now just from
Oh,
hearing all the kind words you're saying about me. But yes, we do go way back, like four flats on my Cadillac. So it's good to see you. It's good to talk to you. It's good to have a chance to catch up with you for a little bit.
yeah, yeah, and and when I mean we go way back, I mean like back to Glar, you pulling up with your slides and them socks and that hoodie you lived in with the basketball shorts. I couldn't understand if you were hot or cold sometimes. I'm like, Aaron, what are you wearing today?
Listen. When you have practice and training camp and film sessions and try to make it to class and just grab something to eat, I'm not getting super dressed up. So that was the athlete uniform. It was the hoodie, it was some Nike slides, it was some basketball shorts, and it was the backpack.
And it worked out for you because you still graduated on time.
Absolutely.
We've been out of school for over 10 years now, and now you have your professional bio, not just your football bio, but your professional bio. Aaron Slaughter, CPA and senior manager for Wiltham Smith Brown. He is practicing out of the Washington, D.C. office and specializes in accounting at auditing of multi-employer benefit plans and labor organizations. With over 10 years of experience in public accounting, Mr. Slaughter, you're Mr. Slaughter now? That's so weird. Mr. Slaughter has assisted in a plethora of audits, agreed upon procedure engagements, and special projects. His expertise includes work for local and national employee benefit plans, health and welfare plans, pension funds and labor organizations, small business organization, and not-for-profit entities. In addition to his accounting and out-of-state experience, he also assists in the recruiting efforts of his firm. Mr. Slaughter is a certified public accountant, CPA, in the state of Maryland, a member of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, a member of the National Association of Black Accountants, and a member of the Next Execs Committee for Bethesda Chamber of Commerce. He is a 2021 40 Under 40 Black CPA Award recipient. And lastly, he is also a member of our alumni, McDaniel College Board of Trustees, where he earned a dual Bachelor of Arts degree in accounting and economics. And with that being said, welcome to Coffee with Yvonne, Aaron.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Yes,
Of
I am Mr.
course.
Slaughter. That's what I go by sometimes.
You all professional now. It's just weird, but we'll make it work. We've all like elevated since college, and we were like the few minorities on campus. So to know the great things that we're doing now makes my heart very proud. So yeah. All right. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay. Remember, it's just me. So no need to feel like you're being nervous or anything. I got you. All right. So when I first started Pink Doll House, I tracked my expenses using a spreadsheet. And now I use tools like QuickBooks to keep track of invoices and costs. For those who are just starting out, can you please share a few recommendations? And I mean real recommendations because I know people who have receipts in shoe boxes or have snapshots on their phone. It's not a real accounting system. So, Aaron, please tell them what they need to be doing better to build and keep track of their expenses.
So there are a couple of different things because if you are working for a company and it's a small company, something like QuickBooks is perfect where it'll help you and guide you through the accounting process for people who don't really have the accounting background. If we're talking about your personal expenses and just keeping track of expense reports, there are a ton of apps that let you take pictures of receipts and kind of organize it all for you by date, by purpose, by the type of expense, whether it's a meal or it's an airline or it's a hotel or lodging that helps you group all of that together so that you can have it in an organized way and then really track where you're spending your dollars. I know a lot of banks in their online platforms have a mechanism that'll let you track how you're spending your money each month so that you can kind of get a sense of where your money is going. But I'm old school. So when I graduated from college, I sat with my computer and charted everything out in Excel as far as how much I was going to spend here per month and how much was going to go to food or gas or whatever the case was. So I would say the most important thing is that you understand a budget and just set some time aside to come up with what you are comfortable spending and then put it on paper because if you don't see it illustrated, it's hard to tell where your money's going.
I know a lot of fellow creators who make it then blow their money and then wonder where their money goes afterwards and why they can't afford to do things like invest in going to a creative conference or even doing things like, you know, building their business with other tools and knowing that working for yourself, the money can ebb and flow, sometimes not making any money at all for a period of time. How can creatives manage their money so they're financially set even during those slower periods?
So there are certain things that you can do to help yourself. The first thing I would do is, first thing I would say to do is to get a completely separate credit card and bank account so that you are only using that for the expenses that are associated with your business. It'll allow you to earn points faster, but it'll also let you see at a quick glance where to go with your money and you can pivot easier if something happens and you need to go in a different direction. If someone did hack, you can have a surefire way to get out of that and have some protections in place so that it's not coming straight from your checking or savings account, like how a debit card is linked to it. I was just having this conversation today with some younger staff in my office because they haven't fully grasped and adapted the whole credit card life. And some people aren't ready for it yet. So because it does take discipline. And we sat in my office and talked about not paying interest because you're paying off your balance every month and some of those things. And I know if you have your own business, maybe you're not in the cash position to pay off your balance every single month. But the credit card life absolutely puts you in a better position to be able to just float and just have some leeway to use the tools at your advantage. So I would find a bank that's offering really good reward card, and I would just talk to them and say, look, I have my own business. I want to do business with your bank. I know you're going to come through for me, and they're pretty loyal and they're pretty lenient as far as terms, and then they'll work with you. And then just take advantage of all the rewards that you can. So we talked about budgeting a little bit. Certainly get the separate bank account and then use that card only for your business expenses.
And that's actually good to know because, like, when I'm traveling for anything dealing with Pink Dollhouse, I use my business bank card. I even budget at the beginning of the year the things I want to attend. So when I'm making the additional money, I'm putting that money aside for any food, travel, lodging, etc. And I actually, Aaron, to tell you the truth, I don't have a business credit card. I do everything through my own personal investment because I am at a point where I could get one, but I'm choosing not to at the moment because I'd rather make sure I'm always paying off everything as I go instead of just using borrowed money to make things happen. Does that make sense?
It does. And like I said, there's really no one right or wrong answer. You got to figure out what works for you. But I know my own personal life, I don't use my debit card ever unless I'm at the casino taking money out. But it's neither here nor there. But I'm using my credit card for everything because I travel a bunch. So I have rewards for airlines. I have hotel credit cards. So I'm taking advantage of everything.
So, side hustles or working under the table has grown in appeal for people who want to start a business without the paperwork. What are the financial positives and negatives of this?
So as far as not having your side business be on paper legitimate and incorporated or whatever the word you want to use, I would say that the tax advantages are going to be very advantageous for you to go ahead and make it official. There are certain things, and I'm not a tax accountant, but there are certain things with the tax code where if you're operating at a loss, you can carry forward your losses. And even though you're making money on paper, you're showing your losses and carrying it forward into subsequent years, which is going to put you at a better tax position as far as how much tax liability you're going to owe. So there's just things in the tax code that are going to help you out as far as having your business be legitimized. The other things is talk as far as just exposure. So if I'm someone who's trying to hire you and you have a legitimate business and I can go to your website and see it and ask around and see reviews and that sort of thing, that's going to add credibility that you're not going to have without those types of things already set in place. And then it's just far as tracking and some of the things that we've talked about already, just budgeting and just having it be separate and treating it as your business. And that's going about it in a professional manner. All of that is kind of all linked together. So I wouldn't say there's anything in a vacuum. Now I know some people work under the table because they like to skirt the tax law and then they might think that it's going to be better for them. But in my opinion, I've uh, seen that go a little haywire because if the government does ever come around and figure out what's going on, now you're getting audited and you don't want to ever be on the wrong side of old Uncle Sam. So
No, you do not. And thinking about too saving your money, how can creatives actively build a better savings or cushion for themselves? Whenever they get paid, because I know the checks can be very appeasing. You see a check come in for like $10,000, you're on your way to Target and the Gucci store, and you're like, yeah, I got money. But in reality, you got to plan for that $10,000 sometimes to stretch longer than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So, what are your suggestions for saving and building your cushion?
so the first thing I'll say to that is a lot of times people don't think about the tax ramifications and they don't put aside money at all for the tax piece of it. And then when it comes tax time, now they get hit with this huge, hefty tax bill and they don't have the money for it. And then they get into a jam. So the first thing is just understanding you have to put money aside to pay your taxes. And depending on how much you're making, you might even have to make quarterly estimates of payments for your taxes. So I would absolutely talk to a CPA and maybe if you don't have the funds to pay for an expensive CPA, but if you have someone in your circle who you can just run some questions by, it's always good to have someone checking on that thing. That's the first thing. The second thing is uh, if you have not started a retirement plan, I would say you want to get that. And the thing that's kind of working against us is time because we can't get this time back. You can't get your early 20s back. You can't get your early 30s back. So the sooner you can start investing into your own retirement and opening up a 401k or something like that, that's going to be beneficial for you. And then maxing out what the IRS allows you to put in for an individual for your own retirement because that's going to compound over time and you'll look up and when you get to age 55, 60, how much that money has grown into and then it'll go a long way as far as what you're able to walk away from when you do want to hang up and retire. And the third thing is just being diligent about investing. And I am also not a finance guy as far as Wall Street, but I'm around a lot of money folks, and I'm always stroking the trees as far as what to do and what should a young person with some money in their pockets do. And it's just invest, and it's being diligent and consistent. And it's if you're going to go out and have a good time, make sure you put aside some to invest and start a Fidelity account or a Vanguard account and just socking away money and just buying whatever it is that you want once you've done your research. But it's about having you've probably heard the term diversified portfolio, but it's getting into index funds and maybe even some fixed incomes. And right now we're in a high inflation period, so those Treasury inflation protected securities, those are doing pretty. I won't say well because 22's been a really tough market, but they're doing worse than the other securities that are out there. So it's just about making sure that you are making a conscious effort to invest. Because the one thing I can tell you is if you don't ever do it, if you don't think about it, it's never going to happen. So in my own personal life, I've set aside automatic transfers in my own bank that it goes straight from my checking to my savings accounts, and I never even see the money. And I have one that automatically goes from my checking account to my investment portfolio, and I never even see the money. So whatever you have to do to make it easy on yourself, it's kind of like getting a gym membership. If you got to get a gym that's close to your home, do it. If you got to get a gym that's close to your job, do it. Whatever's going to make it easier for you, then that's what it is.
And see, that's something I definitely do. So two things. So in my full-time job, of course, I have 401ks and other good stuff. But with Pink Dollhouse, with my freelance work, I have my business bank account. And whenever I get paid, money automatically goes into my tax bucket. It automatically goes into my savings bucket. And the money also goes automatically into additional savings accounts that are outside of that main account. And that is building, interest. I'm not an accounting person. We took class together. I failed that class, but it's building like the interest and stuff over time. And it's just good to see that money grow, that you're not using, but is there as a resource if you ever need it. Now, being transparent, Black and minorities are the fastest growing segment of business owners, yet we do struggle with maintaining the business due to financial mismanagement or capital backing to grow the business. In your opinion, and again, this is a safe space, why do you think that this is the case?
Oh, I'm gonna take it all the way back to when we were growing up. A lot of us did not have someone sit down with them and explain to them finances. They didn't explain to them credit. They didn't explain to them why it's important to not go out and get a credit card as soon as you can, and to not go out and get. I remember when we were little kids in middle school into high school, Nextel was the big thing, and everybody ran out and opened an account and got the Nextel phones because everybody wanted to chirp. And then you look up and your credit was trash.
Mm-hmm.
So you spend your mid and late 20s trying to fix credit. Well, you're already behind the eight ball. So a lot of it goes to just the information sharing that a lot of us never had. And I was fortunate because I do come from a single parent household, but I remember being 7, 8, 9 years old, sitting in the car with my mother and her telling us about credit. Like, look, son, this is why you have to do this. And no, you're not going to do this. And so I was fortunate because I didn't have some of those things to dig myself out of. So when I did get a degree and find a nice job that's going to have a nice paycheck, I was able to set myself up to be better. But as far as the question that you asked me, a lot of it just comes from information. And the money comes fast sometimes, and then it goes way even faster. And it's financial literacy is often talked about, and people try to throw classes at people and educate them to be financially literate, but it's more than that. It's a mindset. It's being in the right support system that's going to allow you to have the tools and the means that you need to try stuff and fail and then not be catastrophic. And sometimes we just don't have that. We don't have parents that can give us $5, $10, $20,000 loans to go out and start businesses and fail. And I mean, we're navigating all these circles without any kinds of help. So I would encourage you all to go find a mentor, whether it's, I was fortunate because I had a professor who changed my life and turned me on to accounting and didn't let me leave the Hill, McDaniel College, without a plan and a job and some of those other things that a lot of people don't have. So find a mentor, bug them, pick their brain, and just, it's not enough to say, oh, we didn't have it growing up. Like, at some point, you have to take responsibility for learning the information that you don't even know that you don't know. And it's trying to find the right circles to be in, join professional organizations, and go to meetings and cast a wide net so your network is big, so you can have the conversations that are going to lead to the answers that might help you with decisions that you have to make.
And you know what, Aaron? Also, another thing we don't do enough, piggybacking off of what you said, we don't talk about money openly in our communities. Like, we are the kind of people, let's say, for example, you finally get that 6 figures is good, but 6+ figure job. You don't talk about it with your family about how you're managing your money or how what that kind of paycheck will look like after you take care of your 401ks and all that other stuff. And we kind of keep it a secret. And then when we end up in debt, or if we lose our jobs, or don't know how to manage the money, all of a sudden we're trying to get out of crisis, and that's when we're talking freely. So I think what other thing we could do is start having these conversations earlier, even if we are in our 20s, or with our nieces and nephews, about the importance of money management, and teach them, okay, if you want these Jordans so bad, all right, these Jordans cost, I don't know how much Jordans cost. I wear Chucks, but these Jordans cost $175. I'm just shooting a number out there. Save up your money for this period of weeks so you can get these Jordans. And at the end of that period of weeks, let's look at that money to see what you could be investing in to get you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pair of Jordans down the line, instead of spending that money now. But we're not having those conversations enough. So you're right. You're absolutely right.
Agreed.
And then also, you're a Black man working in finance. And I know in my field, where I am still a minority, because there's only 6% of Black people from entry level to executive in marketing, you are a rare breed. Let's just be honest. Having someone like you in a visible role is important from a representation perspective. How are you using your platform? I know from the content you post that if you can share how you're using your platform to educate and advocate for the community.
Well, I am the first CPA in my entire family, and I'm actually waiting to hear if I make partner this year, and I'll find out in a few weeks. So to be a Black man at a $400 million firm as a partner, I'm going to be over the moon. So that's the first thing. To the question of how I'm using my platform, I make it a point to go back to talk to schools, football teams, organizations, neighborhoods. I'll talk to anybody who will listen, because I didn't know any Black accountants when I was in school. And if you would have told me one day, you'll be a CPA and you'll be a partner at a firm, I would have laughed at you, because I wanted to go to the NFL and play for a couple of years, and then who knows, maybe go be an engineer or something, which is what I originally wanted to go to school for. But it's about having someone that you can look to and say, wow, this person did it, so can I. So I do a bunch of recruiting for my firm. It's kind of dwindled down to just be more McDaniel and now HBCUs. So I try to get in front of as many accounting classes and clubs that I can, and just show them, like, look, this is what you're studying so hard for. This is why you take these hard classes. This is what life will look like when you're done walking through these quads and having these college parties and doing whatever the fun stuff that you're doing and putting in the work, and you finish the CPA exam. This is what life is going to look like. And it's going to take you places that you would have never imagined. My first time on the West Coast was through this job. And I went to my boss like, look, I come from humble beginnings. We didn't travel a lot as a kid. If we get any travel clients, put me on all of them. And that's what they did. I mean, that's why I was going to New York and LA and Portland, Oregon and Philadelphia and New Orleans and Vegas and just all over the country, just seeing the world on somebody else's dime, because I was fortunate to have someone show me the way. So mentorship is huge. You read in my bio that I was actually named 40 under 40 Black CPAs in America. And a lot of what the criteria was that they looked at was not just how successful you are, but how successful are you making everyone around you? And are you giving back? And I actually became a big brother and a big brother, little brother program that pairs you with a young man from a background similar to mine, so single parent household here in DC, and just shuffling him along the whole college application process and just showing him what being an adult and being a professional and just having someone in his corner looks like. So as far as what I do, I would spend all my time trying to get back if I could. If they didn't throw billable budgets and deadlines at me, I didn't have actual clients that I needed to take care of. But if I can find time to go talk to someone or show them the way or give them money. And that's exactly what I try to do, because we need more of that. We need more mentorship, and we need more people that are going to help bring people along, and make that learning curve a little bit easier for the people coming after them, so that when we're doing this 2, 3, 4 years down the road, it won't be that I'm the only Black CPA in my family, and it won't be that we don't have uh, CPAs that are in line to be partners at firms that look like you and me. It'll be, oh my gosh, that was a thing in the past. Remember when? Look how far we've come. So yeah.
And you know what? I appreciate you saying that because, again, representation truly does matter. I know from my field, when I see my VP walk into our office every day, she's a Black woman. My director, he is a Black man. That took almost 10 years of me working in my field to have two senior leaders who look like me, that I report to on a day to day basis. And even me myself, I don't realize sometimes how much power there is in representation when I'm either, speaking or going to meetings or even like doing media features for like TV, until I get the DMs. And, the DMs are like, I saw you on Channel 5, and, my daughter was like, oh my God, mom, she looks like me. She has pink glasses. She has natural hair. It's little things you don't realize are so impactful, especially when you're sitting in meetings with your hair like this and no one's batting an eye because they're used to you. It's so important. And to your point, we want it to be the norm. We want it to be that kids, no matter what background they come from, like us, single parent homes, feel like they belong in every single space that they walk into without question, without fear. So I'm proud of you for the work that you're doing. And I see you one day, Aaron, honestly having your own nonprofit specializing in something like this, like, young future Black CPAs of America or something like that. I don't know. But I could see you doing something like that to create more impact on your platform. Just a thought. Just a thought.
The sky is the limit. So I have no idea where my career is going to take me. I do see mentorship, and people ask me if I'm going to be a motivational speaker one day. Just who knows? Who knows? But I do like that idea though, just because I do want to create a space for young Black women, men and women who want to go into this field.
It makes sense for you. Now, thinking about what you said before about inflation, there have been rumors about a looming recession. And with inflation and other things to consider, minority owned businesses tend to suffer the brunt of any economic downturn. How can we financially prepare for a possible recession?
Oh, this is a tough one. It's a tough one because you ask 10 different economists, are we in a recession? You'll probably get 8 different answers. And to your first point about how minorities often are going to get hit first, and that goes back to what we were talking about with support system. So sometimes we don't have the 20,000, 50,000, $100,000 cushions to absorb some of these hits if the customers run dry, if we have a stay home for a pandemic, and we don't have those safety nets sometimes. So I think one of the very first things that you can do to protect yourself is to try to build up that reserve. And if it means saving more, if it means going out one less weekend a month, it's trying to do those things that are going to help you build that emergency fund for if we do see another downturn. And I mean, I'm not an economist and I don't try to play one on TV, so I'm not even going to speculate about whether or not we're in a recession. What I will say is the Fed is trying their best to navigate raising interest rates, but also not driving us into a deeper uh, recession. And that is going to change the way money is being lent. And when you think about how often people that look like you and me are able to obtain loans, and what that means, I mean, there have been all kinds of studies on obtaining a mortgage when you're Black, and just there was a bank that got sued. I want to say it was Wells Fargo that got sued a couple of years ago because of the not only just the predatory lending that they were doing, but just not giving people loans at all. So I don't know if Wells Fargo was in the predatory, but they was just refused to give people that look like me and you loans. So building up the reserve, yes. Making sure that your investment portfolio, if you have one, is balanced and diversified, and looking into some of those options that are gonna do better than other securities like the inflation protected securities that we talked about a little bit earlier. And
Aaron, do you think there's any value in like CD accounts, like those kind of things? Like, is there any value in those kind of extra savings safety nets?
so I know some of my clients have CDs, and again, with the interest rates kind of going back up, maybe, but it's hard to say. And I am a little reserved to give suggestions on investment stuff because that's not really my background. But
Understood. Understood.
uh, but I will say that some of my clients do have CDs, and but a lot of what I'm seeing now are fixed incomes that have done worse than they have in normal years, but they've done a little bit better than equities, inflation protected securities, and then just trying to do research and find one of those gems of a stock that's just going to do less poorly than other securities is what I'll say, just because it's been such a tough year. So trying to navigate some of this, it's tricky. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to time the market. I don't know if you've heard the term buying the dip. People are talking about is buying the dip. So as stock prices and prices go down, trying to buy those securities at a lower
Oh, there
cost.
was a Netflix documentary about it on GameStop.
So GameStop, that's a little bit different. Uh, there was a group of people who were shorting the stock and
Oh,
kind
okay.
of driving the price and making money off of it that way. And then the loophole kind of got closed. But that was an interesting thing. But buying the dip is just as the prices are falling, you're buying the stocks, hoping that you can take advantage of the lower stock price.
Got
But
it. Got it. Okay.
yeah. Uh, so, I mean, it's really just trying to find some of those safeguards that you can have as a business owner that are going to protect you from if stuff runs dry. And I think, I mean, again, I started this comment with just having that reserves built up and just doing the things that you can to save some of your disposable income just because you might need it for a rainy
So one less brunch per month is what you're telling
day.
me. Got it.
One less brunch per month could be 200 for some people, could be 500 for some people, depending on if you get the bottle service and all kinds of stuff that goes on with. So I'm saying, I don't know.
I mean, it's brunch in DC. If you don't get bottomless, why are we here?
Why are you going? Why are you going if you don't get
Why are
bottomless?
we
A matter
going?
of fact, don't even invite me if they don't have the bottomless option.
Exactly. I don't come for a la carte. I come for bottles. Like, don't play with me.
Give me page 7 and bring me 2 carafes of the year. Give me the good one. Yeah.
And I want a to-go cup. Don't play with me. But Aaron, you know what? I really enjoyed our conversation, but you know what? We have to do our quick fire questions. Are you ready
Okay.
for them?
Of course.
Okay, now these are top of the dome. No need
Okay.
to overthink it. I just want straight answers, okay?
Gotcha.
Okay. If you were a superhero, what powers would you have?
Oh, give me the ability to fly. Give me,
Really?
yeah, yeah. If I didn't have to pay for another flight in my life, that'd be great.
Oh,
Give me super strength,
okay.
and then I probably would go invincible.
So you're going for like a Superman Wakanda forever kind of feel?
I mean, I did see Black Panther last night,
Did
so
we not?
I'm still on it. But yeah, I'm still on it. I'm thinking like a Superman vibe. My boys in college did call me Superman, so it'd be hard for me not to say Superman right now.
They did call you Superman. I forgot about that nickname. Lord have mercy. And then is you know what? We're gonna go flashback Friday. Okay, you're back in college. You got your Nike slides and your hoodie on. You know, we're in what was that place called? The club room.
The
We're in
pub
the
or the
club
club room.
room.
Okay, okay.
Yes. What song or rap will you just body at karaoke night?
I'm gonna give you two answers.
Okay.
If if and this if this is single me and I'm singing a song, I'm probably gonna do Usher, You Remind Me, or some kind of Usher song.
Okay.
If I'm doing a rap song, I'm probably gonna do Nas One Mic because
Okay.
I just know every word to that song. So it's yeah.
Okay. All right. I never guessed those answers coming from you, honestly. Oh, and then last question. You're a busy man. You're always on the go. If you were a coffee, what kind of coffee would you be?
Man. So I will be completely honest with you. I've actually never had a cup of coffee. And I know I'm a CPA and I've been working for 12 years in this field. I've never had a cup of coffee.
How are you staying awake?
I don't know. I'd be high off life. I don't know.
Respect.
Uh, but if I were a cup of coffee, I mean, I'm gonna just go straight black, no chaser, because that's
No,
how I try to show up every day.
I mean, that's how you have to show up. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream, straight up. Well, thank you, Aaron, so much for joining me for coffee. How can people find out about you, your work, and your growing platform?
So if you just search my name on Google, I'm sure I'll come up somewhere. You can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Aaron Slaughter. I work for Witham Smith and Brown. My email address is my first initial A, my last name Slaughter, Slaughter, at Witham, WITHUM.com. So there are tons of ways to get a hold of me, but yeah, reach out on LinkedIn, shoot me a friend request, and I will find you.
All right. And Aaron, for those who may be interested in hiring a CPA, are you available for hire, or would you be able to give them suggestions of who they can work with?
So I am. I am not a tax accountant. So if you're looking for someone to do your taxes, still give me a call because I have people at my firm who can do it for you, and I would just connect you to whoever you need to talk to. If you're looking for planning your wills and financial planning and wealth management, I can connect you who you need to talk to. If you are really just looking for your annual tax return done, we certainly do that as well. But I am in the audit department. So give me your CEO, give me your CFO, give me your controller, because those are the people who I want to talk to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Aaron, for your time. I appreciate it. I'll chat with you soon. I hope you enjoyed today's chat. Don't forget to follow Coffee with Yvonne on Instagram and Threads at Coffee with Yvonne. You can sign up for my newsletter to get personalized audio and video content, Coffee with Yvonne podcast episodes, and marketing magic breakdowns from your favorite campaigns by visiting the show notes or by going to Substack. For my personal account, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, aka the Clock app, and fanbase at Yvonne_creative marketer. To learn more about me and my business, Pink Dollhouse Marketing, you can go ahead and check out my website at pinkdollhousemarketing.com, or you can follow my business page on Instagram. You can slide into my DMs, that's cool, at Pink Dollhouse Marketing. And remember, creatives, to keep showing up, keep creating, and that your voice matters. I'll chat with you soon. Okay, bye! Coffee with Yvonne is produced and edited by Yvonne Pearson. Coffee with Yvonne is created by Pink Dollhouse Marketing. You can catch the latest episodes by subscribing to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.